Today we're talking about mindsets, how your mindsets can either cause you to step back or spring forward this year as a reseller.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Joe.
And I'm Jessica.
And we are the Family Flips. We are full-time resellers. We buy consumer electronics and liquidated goods such as customer returns and shelf pulls, and we sell that for profit online and here in our local community.
So reselling is a great way to earn extra money. You can do it full-time, you can do it part-time. It's the beautiful thing about it. One of the best parts about reselling is that it's a low cost of investment. You don't even have to have any money to start reselling if you're selling stuff that you already own. So when you start making that money back, you can reinvest it and just continue a reselling business. The other best part about it is the schedule is so flexible. If you are super busy, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you are just trying to earn extra money to pay off some student loans or whatever it is that you need to do, reselling can help you get there regardless of where you are in life.
But you have to have the right mindset to be successful. So let's focus on two specific mindsets. The first one is going to be a fixed mindset. People with a fixed mindset, they believe that their gifts are natural, they're God-given, they're innate gifts that, or strengths that you don't really have to work for, you just have them. And then the second mindset is a growth mindset. Individuals with this mindset, they believe that their talents can be improved through hard work, good strategy, and input or feedback from others.
So let's dig a little bit deeper on what that looks like in a community like our reselling community. When it comes to facets of a business, there's a lot of different things that go and make that wheel turn. Some people are naturally good at some parts and some people are not. So, if you're naturally good at sourcing, but you're terrible at accounting, if you're really good at listing, but you're not a very good photographer when it comes to listing your items, a fixed mindset says that I'm never going to be good at those things, that I don't have what it takes to develop those talents and make them better. So you just don't do them.
So let's get real for a minute, if that's okay with you. So we have had some fixed mindsets and we don't want them anymore. We want to position ourselves to have a growth mindset so that we can be successful. So how have we had fixed mindsets?
One of the things that when Joe landed on this whole growth versus fixed mindset thing, the first thing that came to mind was that we've been telling people in the community that we're not good thrifters.
Yeah.
We're not good sourcers. We do liquidation because that's what we know.
Yeah.
We buy lots because that's what we know. And we had excuse after excuse with, we just don't have time. We've got 3 kids and
they're too expensive.
Yeah, it's too expensive here. Or we're in a very rural area. We just don't have a lot of thrift stores or garage sales. But that's not true. It is true that we're very busy. It is true that there aren't as many as if someplace like in Chicago or San Francisco or Miami where they would have tons of thrift stores. But the fact that we don't have places that we can thrift is not true.
It's not true at all. We have several. There's several places right here in our own town. And I've been lying to myself for I don't know how long, because I used to do it. Like when I first started reselling, that's what I used to. I used to go and buy women's jeans. I would buy electronic stuff, but somewhere in there I told myself this lie that I had this fixed mindset that I wasn't good at it and made all of these excuses. So
if we recognize that we have this fixed mindset when it comes to sourcing, how do we transition our minds, how do we do the work to transition our minds from fixed to growth? And now I recognize that not all of you have the same issue as us, so I invite you to look inside of yourself and look inside of your business and try to figure out, what do I have a fixed mindset with, and try and do this 3-step process with us so that we can all work on getting better this year.
So like your issue may not be thrifting, it could be accounting, it could be time management, it could be buying liquidation, it could be a number of things. And these steps that I'm fixing to talk about, they apply to every facet of your business that you're wanting to improve.
Right.
So we know growth mindset is hard work, good strategy, and inviting people into your life to give feedback. So I broke it up into plan, do, review. The planning part is the good strategy. The doing part is the hard work, and the reviewing, it's taking an active inventory of your own processes, your own skill sets that you want to improve, and also inviting other people into that process. So for us, specifically with thrifting. So our strategy, which is the planning part, right? That's going to be setting times, like how often do we want to go do this? We realize that we're wanting to learn this skill and develop it over the course of the year, so we don't have to do this every day.
Right.
But it could be once a month, every 3 weeks. It really just depends on how much we are able to go out. So that's part of the strategy. The next thing would be to go and to educate ourselves, watch other people's YouTube videos, their BOLO list, all those things about what items to look for, what name brands to look for when we are going out sourcing. And specifically, one area that we're wanting to improve in is really in the realms of clothing. And this is, and we understand that clothing is a very saturated market, but we know that clothing has a very low cost entry. You can get items for very, very cheap. We don't plan on listing these items ourselves. We plan on using a Sellhound app or our virtual assistant to be able to help us out with this process.
Not because we're not good at listing, but because we do have other aspects of the business that we need to protect. So managing the time appropriately, that is the conclusion that we had come to.
So the doing part, or the hard work part, is once we've made this strategy, we've got to go and we've got to do. We've got to do what we say we're going to do, and we have to keep doing it until we're seeing improvement. Mm-hmm. And that's where the feedback or the review part comes in, is that we're going to continually have to take inventory of our behaviors to make sure that our behaviors are lining up with moving from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset.
And that's where we invite you in. I mean, we want to film this process. We want to try and start doing these different vlogs and everything like that. And if you see something and you're like, man, they probably should have got that, let us know. We're interested in knowing. And I understand that for a lot of people, this can be really difficult. Receiving feedback, especially feedback that is constructive, can be very, very scary. But at this point, it's really, if you really want to improve, right, you have to be willing to take that constructive criticism and really do something with it. Now, there's some constructive criticism that you can throw out the door, but for the most part, find that meat. Find the people who mean well, who are trying to do something with you, and have them hold you accountable. And that's where we invite our community to come in and help us. You can be a part of our feedback community if you'd like. So you've listened to us talk for however long we've been talking, and now you're like, now what? Well, the first thing that I invite you to do is to do a personal inventory of what you are doing, your behaviors and your mindsets towards your business. And find one mindset that is fixed, that you believe cannot be improved. And follow the 3-step process to improve that thing. Now, I suggest that you find something that's going to give you the most profitability. Find a sourcing or a listing or something like that. That's what you believe is going to make your business more successful. So find something like that and then plan. Right? Construct a strategy. Make a plan on how often you're going to work this. How often are you going to exercise this skill? And then 2, do. Now, this is not something that you're just going to do for a little while and then stop. This is something you're going to have to be consistent to see results. So make realistic goals. Have realistic expectations. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. And then finally, you're going to want to get feedback. You're going to want to do the review part. Find accountability partners. Look for people who've done the work, who know what it's like, who can say, hey, you're doing great, or hey, let's try and work on these things next. Don't be afraid of feedback. It does not define you, but it can very much help you.
So we appreciate you guys watching through this whole video. If you haven't subscribed and you've watched this far, you're going to want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that like button. Leave us your comments, your thoughts in the comment section. And normally we would put a video on the screen to watch, but I think most importantly now is that you need to go do. You need to go take the time now to do what we just said, because we're doing it. Until next time, peace.